Hey guys, I'm Dr. Kimmy Wiley from Peak Pursuit Performance and Rehab, and today we're going to teach you how to fix your IT band syndrome without using a foam roller. First, I just want to talk about what IT band syndrome is. IT band syndrome is going to be pain around the outside of the knee due to compression of the fat pad that lies under the IT band. We used to think IT band syndrome was from injury to the IT band itself, but we have more recently found out that it's actually due to compression of the neural structures underneath the IT band. For whatever reason, our most common approach to fixing this sort of pain seemed to be just going straight to a foam roller, going straight to stretching for the longest period of time. However, if IT band syndrome is a compression syndrome, does it really make sense to add compression to the area? In general, I'm not the hugest fan of foam rolling because it's only been shown to have small increases in flexibility that only last a short period of time. But if foam rolling does help you feel better and is something that you like to do, I would suggest that you roll out the muscles around the IT band rather than rolling out the IT band itself. I would suggest that you roll out the muscle bellies of your glutes, your TFL, maybe your quads, your hamstrings, but try to really avoid going on that IT band itself because that's just gonna add that compression that we don't need. So if foam rolling and stretching isn't the answer, what is? In general, we find this sort of lateral knee pain mostly in people like runners, hikers, people who are doing these longer day activities, and it's just due to that repetitive compression underneath the IT band. Usually, this sort of pain isn't actually due to shortness of our IT band, but rather due to problems with our gait pattern, deficits in our single leg coordination, and maybe weakness in our hips. Today, we're gonna go over those three things and how we can improve them. One of my favorite exercises to really work on glute activation and glute strength is a side plank clamshell. In this position, I have a band around my knees. All I'm doing is I'm coming up into a little side plank and I'm opening up this leg like a clamshell. I can either sit here, come up and down, or I can come all the way down and bridge back up and come back up each time. This is a great way to really start getting those glutes to start working a little bit harder, getting them a little bit stronger. Our next exercise is gonna be lateral foot taps. I like to do this on some sort of stool or stair at the house, but you can also do this on something shorter. In fact, I'd actually advise you start off on something shorter until you get good at it. All we're doing in this position is we're standing on one leg. This opposite leg, we're gonna reach outwards and backwards, and we're gonna come down until we tap our heel and then come straight back up. This is a great exercise because not only are we really working on that single leg control, but we're learning to stabilize with our hips while we're doing it. The big key with this is that I'm not letting this hip drop down. A lot of times we'll see people compensate by coming down like this. You can see that my hips shift downwards on this side, and that means we're not stabilizing with this glute med. I want you to keep your hips nice and level when you're reaching down and back. That makes sure that we get everything working in unison. Not only are our quads really working on this side, but we're really getting our glutes firing on both sides. Finally, we're just gonna go over one quick exercise to really work on hip stability while doing a gait-like activity. All I'm doing here is I'm holding two dumbbells up. You can keep them by your side, you can have them overhead, whatever you wanna do. The real focus of this is keeping our hips nice and stable and really activating our core here. I can either just march in place, really staying as stable as possible through the hips, or I can walk forward. I'm just doing a nice high knee march, walking forward, keeping my abs very tight, really focusing on squeezing my glutes on my stance leg. That's just one simple gait training activity that we can do. In general, with my clients, I like to give them more advice than just that. Lots of times we see that IT band compression worse in people who take long strides where their leg is adducting more. So if I'm running and my leg tends to do this crossover pattern, if I do that repetitively and I have this lateral knee pain, it's likely because my hips aren't stabilizing enough. My glute muscles right on the sides aren't keeping my legs abducted enough, and maybe my stride length is a little too long. Generally, I tell those sorts of clients to try to shorten their stride length and to do these hip retraining activities, really focusing on getting that glute med really strong so it can support those hips, keep them more level, avoid this hip drop as they're running, as they're hiking, as they're doing those more endurance-based activities. By no means are these all-encompassing exercises, but they're a great place for you to start if you do have that IT band syndrome. And they are far better than just foam rolling the area and hoping that it'll disappear. Just to recap, our 3 exercises were side plank clamshells, lateral foot taps, and marches while carrying some weights and stabilizing at your hips. Hope this was helpful. Leave a comment if you like this and let us know what you'd like to hear from us in the future. Also, subscribe to the channel for more information just like this. Also, if you're one of those people who struggles with hip tightness, we made a video about that and you can find it right here. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.